The movie starts with a former German emperor's bodyguard falls in love with one of his housekeepers, not knowing her dark secret could endanger them both. Captain Stefan Brandt is called to Berlin because Kaiser Wilhelm II needs a new commander for his military guard. Even though Stefan was kicked out for poor leadership, he's still seen as an icon, so he's assigned to protect the Kaiser. He tries to argue that he's not fit for the job, but the general reminds him that after his mistakes in Poland, he's lucky not to be facing a court-martial. Stefan goes to Holland, where the Kaiser is living in exile. When he arrives, a maid named Mika opens the door, and Colonel Sigurd, the Kaiser's military assistant, welcomes him. The Kaiser's wife, Hermine, tells Wilhelm that his new military guard is here. Wilhelm doesn't want to acknowledge it, but Hermine insists it's important to make a good impression. She thinks the country might want Wilhelm back, so they need to invite the new commander to dinner. As Stefan starts his duties, he learns from Inspector Dietrich that he has to spy on Wilhelm's attitude towards the regime. The inspector also warns that the British Secret Service might try to kidnap or kill the Kaiser. Later, Mika accidentally walks in on a war briefing while bringing coffee. Wilhelm asks her if she would have invaded Holland if she were in charge. She says yes, which makes Wilhelm laugh. That evening, Mika comes to Stefan's room to deliver a dinner invitation from the Kaiser. Stefan is immediately attracted to her and asks her to undress. She does and they make love, but Stefan has to stop because of a painful injury and sends her away. At the dinner, Wilhelm talks about his reign. Hermine changes the subject to Stefan, who shares that his father and grandfather served in the army, and his mother, who cleaned houses, died when he was young. This upsets Wilhelm because it happened during his reign. He wonders if he's being blamed for it, saying his navy betrayed him and that's why he lost the war. The room falls silent until Wilhelm leaves. Back in his room, Stefan finds Mika waiting for him. She tells him to undress and they make love. Afterward, Mika hurries to leave, but Stefan asks her to stay. She ignores him and leaves. The next morning, Sigurd tells the Kaiser that Stefan wants to move into the house due to the threat to his life. Sigurd also offers to brief Wilhelm on the war's progress, but Wilhelm prefers to feed the ducks outside. Hermine is disappointed but remains hopeful about Wilhelm regaining his authority. Sigurd thinks this hope is stressing Wilhelm. Mika brings more bread for the ducks, and Wilhelm invites her to join him. He comments on her beautiful hands and asks if she's used to physical labor. Mika says the war changed her life.
You have beautiful hands. They are quite unused to physical labor, no?
War changes everything.
Wilhelm talks about preferring ducks since they don't blame him for his troubles. Mika sympathizes, understanding his regret about losing power. When Stefan arrives, Wilhelm jokingly mentions that Stefan thinks there's a British spy in the household, which catches Mika's attention. Wilhelm then asks Mika to show Stefan his new room. While showing him around, Mika warns Stefan that staff aren't allowed to spend nights with men, but she tells him where her room is before leaving. Later, Dietrich informs Stefan that they've traced the spy's transmissions to a nearby village and will search it that evening. Dietrich also says Reichsführer Himmler will join them for dinner tomorrow. Stefan delivers the message to Wilhelm during breakfast, only for Hermine to mention Himmler's visit first. Hermine asks Stefan to make sure Himmler hears only positive things about Wilhelm and his household. During the house search, Mika is worried. Stefan inspects her room himself to protect her, suspecting she might be the spy. While helping Wilhelm feed the ducks, Wilhelm distracts himself from the search by asking about Mika's romances. Mika admits she's seeing someone, though she doesn't know him well. Wilhelm talks about his first love who married someone else, advising her to seize her chance. After the search, Mika rushes to her room, relieved that her hidden pistol wasn't found. She then quickly leaves the manor, which Stefan notices. Mika goes to the church to report to Pastor Hendricks about Himmler's visit. She wants to kill Himmler but is told it's not her mission. However, Mika insists on taking revenge for her father and husband's deaths. Hendricks agrees to ask their allies if they should proceed.
I'll come to the house, and I'll give you the answer. Tomorrow.
Stefan eavesdrops on their conversation. That night, Hendricks transmits the message to London, allowing Dietrich's men to capture him. Mika sneaks into Stefan's room, seeking comfort, and they spend the night together. Stefan wakes up early after a nightmare about a village in Poland where the army killed innocent people. He explains that he was dismissed from service for beating the officer responsible. Mika argues that their regime is full of men like that officer. Stefan is upset and can't believe Mika's claims, but he suddenly proposes to marry her. Mika reminds him that she's Jewish and Stefan promises to protect her. Their conversation is cut short when someone arrives. Later, the Kaiser calls Stefan and Mika because Hermine has discovered their relationship. Hermine demands they be fired, but Wilhelm wants to speak to them privately first. Wilhelm is pleased that Stefan is the man Mika spoke about and shares that he himself had relationships outside of marriage. He decides not to punish them but tells them to be more discreet about their relationship. Despite this, Stefan is soon called to meet Dietrich, who tells him they've captured Pastor Hendricks and are torturing him for information. Dietrich promises they will find the spy by the end of the day, making Stefan nervous. Hermine talks to Sigurd privately, expressing concern that Wilhelm might anger Himmler, which could endanger them. Sigurd warns her that even former high-ranking officials have been killed for showing insufficient loyalty. Hermine instructs Sigurd to prevent Wilhelm from being provoked. When Himmler arrives, Stefan warns Mika that Hendricks was captured and is being interrogated. Mika pretends not to know why Stefan is telling her this, but Stefan accuses her of being the spy. He's aware of the gun oil scent from her room and the church visit. Mika, feeling defeated, tells Stefan to arrest her, but he can't do it. Instead, he asks her to leave. Hermine nervously bribes Himmler, hoping to get support for Wilhelm's return to power. Himmler and Wilhelm go for a walk, and later Hermine finds Wilhelm shocked. Wilhelm has been invited back to Berlin, which Hermine takes as a sign that he might be reinstated. Wilhelm advises her to keep it a secret for now. Stefan meets Dietrich, who confirms that Himmler's plan to reinstate Wilhelm is a trick to flush out loyalists. Dietrich orders Stefan to intercept all communications and report them. During dinner, Himmler discusses plans to handle the Jewish population, including disturbing ideas about eliminating the disabled. This horrifies the other officers. As Himmler prepares to leave, Mika tells Stefan that he is an exception among the cruel men they've seen. Stefan asks Dietrich to inform him of the pastor's confession and then sends Himmler's team away. Hermine finds Wilhelm in the woods, where he has decided to stay in Holland rather than return to Berlin. He explains that the regime's cruelty convinced him to stay. Hermine accepts his decision. Stefan and Sigurd bring a van to take Wilhelm to the hospital, but Stefan drives away with Wilhelm to meet Mika. They explain the situation to the Kaiser, who agrees to hide Mika. Dietrich's men are waiting at the gates. Stefan distracts them, allowing Mika and Wilhelm to escape safely. Mika thanks Wilhelm for saving her life and he falls asleep. Mika decides to leave and invites Stefan to join her, but he refuses, choosing to stay and fight for his country. Mika promises to marry him if he finds her after the war. Weeks later, Stefan receives a package from Mika with an address in it. He informs Wilhelm that Mika is safe. In London, a pregnant Mika is called to speak to the Prime Minister. Stefan looks forward to reuniting with Mika, unaware she'll be greeting him with their child. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.